Jon Jones. This is complicated. This is a lot more complicated than you might think. Let's start with this. One thing that Jon is going to find, and I assure you it will surprise him, is he's going to have naysayers, like some of you, like me, like Daniel Cormier. He will have naysayers that are going to praise him. And he's going to look around and go, why are those guys praising me? And it's a very simple concept with artists, which is they become more valuable in death. Now, this is the death of a career, but it's still a death. And what Jon is going to come to find is naysayers, like some of you, like Daniel Cormier, like me, poked the bear in part because we enjoyed watching him that much. We poked the bear as a way of getting him into the ring so that we could watch him do his craft. That's part of being a fan. And it's a part that Jon never understood. But why would you try to talk him out of it? If you're one of his coaches or his brothers with all the success they have, if you're even one of his parents, why would you try to talk him out of that? He's found some kind of a formula. He's having resounding success. You got to let it go. And I've heard so many different interviews that Jon has done over the years. And one thing about Jon's approach to a fight, we really saw this in the Stipe fight that you guys might even remember. But Jon needs to be the victim. It needs to be him against the world, and he's here to save the world. He just needs that. There's a press conference at Madison Square Garden. That's where his last fight with Stipe was. It was on like a Wednesday. And Jon brings up that that he's going to beat Stipe's ass. And Jon's mad. And Jon gets a look in his eyes when he's mad. And he's got this crazy look. He's got this killer instinct look. And he starts cutting a promo on the fact that Stipe had talked about his children, about Jon's children. And Stipe, rhetorically, he just doesn't have that ability to come in and defend himself. He had no idea what Jon was talking about. Stipe never brought up children, let alone Jon's children. That simply never happened. So, whatever information Jon was given, which was wrong information, it's got Jon mad. And I'm just saying, but he did this on fight week, and there was no bringing him off it. He started this on like a Wednesday. Stipe came out later. Stipe had to get his thoughts together to even respond because I'm telling nothing like this happened. Jon used it again on Thursday. He used it Friday after the weigh-ins. He did it on a social media piece on Saturday. And he's going to beat this guy because of that. Stipe's going, I didn't talk about this guy's kids. I don't believe in doing that. So I'm just sharing with you, Jon's approach and Jon's methods are very unique to him. But there's a number of things that he gets wrong, even his resounding success. And I think that he's going to find so many people that stand back at this point, the career is over. I said, man, you were good. I really enjoyed your fight with such and such. I'm really impressed with the fact that you were a wrestler that won fights with not just kickboxing, but trick boxing. I mean, Jon's out there tricking you. He's posting this way, and he's coming with an elbow, and he's kneeing you in the body. He's spinning around and kicking you in the stomach in front of the president. I mean, he did some things that people just don't do. It really was a unique athlete. And if anybody was to retire, and you can spread this across leagues. It could be LeBron, it could be Colby, rest his soul, it could be Jordan. It could be Money Mayweather. In any way that you want to do it. But when they came out and retired, there would have been conversations before that conversation. There would have to be people that you'd have to sit down. You'd have to sit down, the owner of the gym. Well, Jon doesn't belong to a gym. For all the money in the world, you could not tell me where Jon trained for his fight against Stipe. You have no idea. you'd have to sit down with your coach. You have to sit down with your coach and explain to him, because there's a financial impact to his life too. Not to mention there's like that father-son bond there, and you'd want him to be the first to know, and you'd want him to hear it from you. Jon doesn't have a head coach. Jon, as a matter of fact, from Madison Square Garden, of which I was at, had a band of misfits in his corner, two of which are my friends, Gable Stevenson and Gordon Ryan. Those are my guys, but I can't act like between the two of them they've ever had an MMA match. I cannot act like between the two of them they should be in a corner of the champion of the world at Madison Square Garden. It was one of these situations. He gets booted from Jackson's. It wasn't even Jackson's call. It was Wink, and it got back. I mean, it was one of these things where there was no one to tell. There was no gym that's going to lose members because they were attracted by him. It's a very unique situation. So it comes out and says he retires. And there was such incredible moments he had. And you must pay homage to that. That's the way this works. Most guys on their retirement night are woken up with salts and carried out. And even for them, we will stand up in a standing ovation and we will thank them for the memories. So to have a guy that goes out on absolute top, it would be wildly unfair if that's the one we're mad at. We're okay with everybody that gets beaten up, but this guy, because of his success, and now we're mad about him? No, of course not. You're going to tell him great job, but you are going to be faced with, do you believe him? Do you believe him? Do you believe that he's retired? Do you believe that he won't come back? And right now, this decision was made unilaterally. Most guys do not have the level of success where they have any say in their retirement. You will always want to be a fighter. You will always want to be part of the business. You will wake up one day and realize the business is done with you. That's how this works. Very cold. But every now and then you have somebody that's so good it's their decision. And to ask yourself, is he truly done? You must understand, when you have that conversation today, that's fully up to Jon. But if you make believe that in the future, if he were to try to come back, that it's still solely up to Jon, I will remind you of no further than 6 days ago when Francis made it clear he would like to come back. I'll just remind you, I won't go back into ancient history. I'll go back 6 days ago. How well did that work out?